Welcome back, and today we're going to be doing a winter scene with a little stream. It's not very hard to do this one, but very little drawing, as you can see on the screen. And now I'm putting in some trees, and a tree is nothing more than a start at the top small and you skinny all the way down. You go back and forth like a little scribble. And use a lighter tone green here because we're going to be putting other layers on to make the trees look more realistic and a little rounder. At the moment they look one-dimensional. We're speeding it up here because it would take a while to go through all these. And makes it easier, but I would practice these trees in your spare time to try to get them right. And again, you just put a little vertical notch at the top and wiggle your way down, back and forth. It's just that simple. It goes all the way through it. There we go. And we're about to go back with a darker color. So we'll get another color green, a little darker. I typically like sap green or hooker green. And what you do is you scribble again, but you only go down the center of the tree this time. That way it does give it a dimension. If you do the whole, cover up all the green, it makes no sense. It's that centerpiece that makes it look alive as we go through this. Pretty good. I've been doing this for a while. This technique works really well for essentially Christmas trees. But you go through it pretty quickly. And then we take a wet paintbrush. It's just water this time and soften it up so it doesn't look so harsh. And that takes care of the background. We probably won't be touching this again. And next we're doing some of the snow and some of the trees. Probably some water here. That's the next step anyway. And throwing the sky. And the sky is just random like that. Just throw it across there. Have a bit of fun with it. Don't feel intimidated. Just dive right in. That's what I do. I don't think about it too much here. I'm just roughing in the main trees. Most of the trees in this particular painting will be done, randomly. There won't be any particular theme to it. These are shadows of trees that are coming onto the scene. I do the shadows first, and then I line a tree up to the shadow later. And there's a shadow in over there because there's going to be a major tree in there. Next, we're going to do the stream, and what I do is I try to keep all the strokes horizontal the best I can. When it goes on vertical, it's not too good. Now here I'm drying the river, and I'm using a Chinese fan you get at the dollar store. I usually use an electric dryer that you get for doing your hair, and especially when I'm outside doing plein air, I use a Chinese fan for that. And that particular picture that was up on the screen, that is a scene we're doing today. And just darkening up the water a little bit and getting it going. Trying to get it as smooth as possible. Come across. As you can see, trying to keep all the strokes horizontal for the most part, But already you can see it come together. That good old fan, it was like a bird. So next we're going to be throwing in, what are we doing here? These are the main trees up front. So these are the foreground trees, you could say. And the trees that we did initially were the background trees. And I'm using a rigger brush for that. And the rigger brush is nothing more than a very long-haired brush. Very, very fine. You can do some great stuff with a rigger brush. If you use a thicker brush, it goes on kind of gobby and it doesn't look good. But when you do the branches, they get thinner as they go up and they all go towards the sun as they move along. Here's one of the main trees up front that captures the shadow at the bottom that we already did. We can see already the scenes coming together. And what we're doing next is we're throwing in some rough leaves left over from the winter a bit. And then we'll switch brushes here, go wider, just to show you the difference. And I prefer the wide brush approach myself. And get a bit of darkness in the center. But again, you're starting to see the painting come alive. My favorite part's the water. We'll be getting to that very shortly. Here's along the shoreline. So that the snow touches the water, it creates a bit of a shadow. You have to be pretty observant in nature to accomplish all these things. That's why it's good as an artist, as a watercolor artist, you become very observant of what's around you and how it's put together. I'm just probably mixing paint up right now. Get the next stage. Here's the edge of the snow. One stroke makes that snow look thick, doesn't it? Now what we're going to do, we're putting in highlights. So we're pulling the paint away now. And this creates bright spots on the water of sun coming through. But it also gives it a nicely glassy feel. Right, I'm just taking and putting in a few more shadows. A couple more little twigs coming through the snow. We'll line those up with a bit of shadows next, just to show the difference again. Everything casts a shadow. Now we're putting in stones that are all along the riverbank. And I'm just using my flat brush again, nothing special. We're in some reflections of the trees using my rigger brush. Just throwing in some lines to manipulate the effect of water. This could also be clear ice as well. And what I was doing there was that I'm using white gouache. White gouache is a mixture of acrylic and watercolor, and it's a very opaque, very permanent color. If you want to put white on top of your watercolors, this is the paint to do it with. It's very opaque. Let's throw in some light coming through. Just some highlighting going on. In the water there especially. And the last thing I do on every painting is what we call splattering. We splatter paint on the painting. Sometimes I'll be using orange, I'll use blue, sometimes I'll use colors I never used in the painting. But that essentially makes the painting, that's pretty much we're all done here once the splattering is all through. It adds a bit of sparkle to the water. It looks pretty good. And here you have a nice winter scene, done very carefully. But in real life, like, this is only sped up twice, so you can accomplish this painting in about half an hour to an hour, especially if you're a novice. So I'd probably advise you to come by or give me a call. Thanks a lot.
That love is in your heart, if you believe that hope is just the start, if you believe that goodness lives inside, if you believe in the power of persistence, and if you believe there's no room for indifference, then you're not along just for the ride. 'Cause if you believe that anything is possible, then anything is possible that you believe. And if you believe that anything is possible, then come on and roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you believe that freedom is a right of birth, if you believe in helping Mother Earth, if you believe in getting something done, and if you believe that black or white we all agree, we're all part of the same humanity, then it's time for us to work as one. 'Cause if you believe that anything is possible, then anything is possible that you believe. And if you believe that anything is possible, then come on and roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. love is stronger than fear, if you're doing something positive here, if you know that change starts just with you, and if you believe in respecting one another, then take my hands, my sisters, my brothers. We've got our work cut out for us to do. 'Cause if we believe that anything is possible, anything's possible that we believe.